Ron DeSantis had something great come out over the weekend, which is he answered the call to defend Tommy Tuberville. Tommy Tuberville, the Republican senator who is holding up Joe Biden's military promotions because the Pentagon decided to push a radical pro-abortion policy. The Pentagon decided that they were going to take taxpayer dollars and pay service members to go to different states, to fly to different states, to kill their children through abortion because the Dobbs decision from the Supreme Court limited the constitutional license to abortion. So after Dobbs comes out, after Roe v. Wade is overruled, the Pentagon top brass, they say, hey, it's really, really important to be a fighting force. It is really, really important that we pay our service members to kill their own children. No matter how difficult it is, even if they have to fly across the country, we are going to pay our service members to kill their own children, which seems contrary to the purpose of the military. The purpose of the U.S. military is to protect us and kill our enemies. The purpose of the U.S. military is not to kill our own children. That would be, to my mind, the very opposite of the purpose of the U.S. military. So Tommy Tuberville heroically stands up and says, you're not getting your promotions. You're not getting more top brass out there at the Pentagon until you roll back this policy. We are still a government of the people, by the people, for the people. I am an elected representative of the people. We're not going to let you wacko far leftists who have infiltrated the U.S. military, the last conservative institution in America. We're not going to allow you to spend our money without any oversight to this evil, evil end. And a bunch of the squishes have turned against Tommy Tuberville, but Ron DeSantis just came out and defended him.
Do you agree that Tommy Tuberville should lift the blockade on military promotions? Do you agree with Republicans in the Senate?
Actually, I think that what the DOD is doing, I don't think they're following the law with respect to the abortion tourism. I don't think taxpayer money should be spent on that. We have a very weak defense industrial base. We've got huge problems with recruiting. And so their focus on that, I don't think is consistent with the law. I also think it's misguided. I would also point out that you can promote people on an individual basis. I think the Senate has decided they have not wanted to move a lot of those. But if there's people that are mission critical, they can move it in spite of what Senator Tuberville did. But I think fighting back on the Pentagon going outside the boundaries of the law, I think that's Congress's appropriate role for oversight and checks and balances.
But to answer the question, do you think that Senator Tuberville should lift the blockade that he's put on military promotions?
No, because I think that we're trying to force a change in Pentagon policy to conform them to the law,
right.
While at the same time he has allowed individuals to be appointed. So if there are mission critical promotions, bring them before the Senate. I think he's been very clear that that's appropriate, and I know that they have done that in certain instances.
Totally right on. Finally, you're hearing a Republican in elected office, in this case, someone who's running for president, say the obvious. Tommy Tuberville is a hero. This is an excellent, excellent move by him. Very courageous. And the squishes who are standing on the sidelines, keeping their mouths shut, while the top brass at the Pentagon transforms our military into an American baby killing machine. Can you imagine? And the even worse, the squishes on the Republican side who are attacking Tommy Tuberville, those people deserve contempt in public life. DeSantis totally right here. And I want to hear more Republicans saying it. Why is it taking the governor of Florida, the number 2 guy in the presidential race, to be among the first prominent Republicans to defend Tuberville? I want to hear every elected Republican defend Tommy Tuberville. Now, that was good stuff. I'm very, very happy with DeSantis for this. Unfortunately, Governor DeSantis followed that answer with a very bad answer, also on MSNBC. Right now, text Knowles to 989898. Yet again, we're facing the threat of a government shutdown. And of course, the administration will deal with it the same way they always do, with more spending, which will inevitably devalue the dollar. Protect your savings by diversifying into gold with the help of Birch Gold Group. When you open an IRA with Birch Gold, for every $10,000 you spend by December 22nd, Birch Gold will send you a free gold bar. Just text Knowles, K-N-O-W-L-E-S, to 989898 to claim eligibility before Black Friday. Birch Gold can even help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold without taking any money out of pocket. And you still get the free gold bars. With an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and thousands of satisfied customers, you can count on Birch Gold to help you transition an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold. Do not let your savings fall victim to the further devaluation of the dollar. Text Knowles to 989898. Receive a free info kit on gold and claim your eligibility before Black Friday to receive free gold bars on your qualifying purchase. That is Knowles, KNWLES, to 989898. And the answer was, what should happen to President Trump if he is convicted in any of these show trials brought by the liberal regime?
Do you really believe that a man who's convicted of, say, attempting to overturn the 2020 election or taking nuclear secrets back to his beach club, do you actually still, as we sit here today, believe that person should be president?
So I signed a pledge, Willie, and that pledge is what it is. Now, do I think somebody under those circumstances could get elected president? The answer is no. That will not happen. I think that Republican voters will understand that as we get closer to voting. But it would be fatal in a general election. And I don't think the party should nominate in that situation.
Okay. I guess DeSantis needs to give this answer. I guess, because DeSantis is running against Trump. So he wants Trump out of the primary. DeSantis is running against Trump. He needs to convince voters that Trump is not electable under any circumstances. And it's easy to say, especially when teed up by an MSNBC host, that if Trump is convicted by the very, very legitimate courts and trials that are bringing him up on very serious charges, not a complete Banana Republic show trial Stalin-esque nonsense. No, this is all very serious. Donald Trump, one time, it looks like he may have jaywalked in New York City. Can you imagine? Send him to the gulags for 150 years. I guess DeSantis needs to give that answer because he's running against Trump, but it's a very bad answer because it accepts the premise, the liberal premise, that these trials are somehow legitimate. They're not. They're not. Part of the evidence that the trials are not legitimate, other than the content of these trials, other than how unprecedented it is that a former president and current leader of an opposition party, of the opposition party, would be indicted at the federal level, at the state level, over supposed crimes that have never been prosecuted against a president, that the former opponent of Donald Trump, with far less right, certainly committed more clearly than Donald Trump ever did in the case of Hillary Clinton's classified email scandal. It accepts the premise that this is all somehow legitimate instead of the show trial that it is. And that's no good because not only do Republican voters know that this is a political persecution almost entirely divorced from the law, many Democrats know that too. Polls of whether or not Donald Trump is being politically persecuted through these trials show a clear majority of Americans, that means including independents and Democrats, believe that it's a political persecution. So then you've got DeSantis, I guess necessarily from his standpoint, echoing left-wing talking points, pretty crucial left-wing talking points, even justifying implicitly the show trial of Donald Trump and the principle that a former president and current leader of the opposition party, so long as he's a Republican, could be prosecuted for this nonsense. Very, very bad. And it once again speaks to the impossible position DeSantis is in, which is that DeSantis's whole candidacy is premised on being Donald Trump 2.0, bigger, better, faster, stronger, more articulate, more focused, more this. You like the original, you're going to love the new version. That's the whole pitch. Even the way that the DeSantis campaign is speaking now, they're saying Donald Trump, he's not the man he was in 2016. That's the new talking point from the DeSantis campaign. And I guess it's the best one they've got, but that only doubles down on the notion that DeSantis is Trump 2.0. Yeah, we love Trump 2016, but I'm going to be the real Trump 2016. The current Donald Trump of 2023, 2024, he's lost a step. He's not what he promised us he would be. I'm the fulfillment of the Trump promise. Okay. Well, if that's the case, you're going to turn off the moderates and the squishes and the establishment people in the GOP, but you're probably not going to pull enough Trump people over. So then you've got to go on over and sort of side with the squishes and the moderates and the establishment people. And you got to go on MSNBC and you got to make that case. And that's going to involve echoing some of the lib talking points that are totally going to turn off the Trump people. So you're left, even though you're seemingly the strongest candidate in the race, because you've got all the Trump bona fides, but you're also more polished and clubbable. So you appeal a little bit more to the people who just simply don't like Trump's temperament and personality. You go from looking like the strongest guy in the race into a man without a home, into a man without a country, which is, I think, being reflected in the polls. And it's unfortunate because the guy's pretty solid, but he's just in, I think, an impossible situation. Boy, what a great clip that was. Now, hey, hold up. Ring that bell, subscribe to the Michael Knowles YouTube channel. We'll see you next time.